Oh, can you feel it? It's the rush you get whenever you unbox books you just got back from CGC. And every time you pull one out of the box, it's like scratching off a lottery ticket. And when you hit it big, there's nothing better. But even when you crap out, of course you have an adrenaline dump, but you still got to experience that adrenaline rush. And I think that's one of the most underrated reasons to submit your books back from CGC. Plus, even though it provides an adrenaline rush similar to scratching off a lottery ticket, I think it has at least two advantages. First of all, what you get isn't totally random. I mean, obviously, you've hopefully inspected the books, and so you've increased the likelihood that you are going to hit it big versus, again, just the randomness you get from picking numbers or scratching off a ticket. And secondly, even if you do totally crap out and get a grade much worse than you were expecting, they still have some value to them. Whereas, you scratch off a ticket and it's not a winner, it's just straight to the trash. You can at least get someone to usually pay case cost for the book that you've submitted. And so both of those things decrease your risk at least a little bit, while also providing a third advantage over the lottery that I just thought of, because this involves owning comic books that you love instead of just these random sheets of paper with numbers on them. And I just got 5 books back, and I can't wait to find out their grade, starting off with this one, Tales of the Teen Titans number 44. Now, I think all of these are in pretty high grade. I'm expecting at least 9 6s, and I'm hoping for at least some 9 8s. If I get those 9 8s, boom, goes the adrenaline. 9 6, it's fine. 9 4 below, I'll be a little bummed. But I got a good deal on most of these, so whatever I get is probably okay. But this is the one that is probably got the best chance of hitting a 9-8, so it's going to set the tone for the rest of the submission. So, of course, this book has the first appearance of Jericho, the origin of Deathstroke, but most importantly, it's when Dick Grayson becomes Nightwing. Now, this event happened right before I started reading comics as a kid, but before I started reading them, I grew up watching the Super Friends cartoon and the Adam West Batman show where Dick Grayson was Robin, and I even had a Super Friends Robin Kenner figure. So I was shocked, I tell you, when I found out that Dick Grayson in the comics was no longer Robin. And a part of me will always see him as my Robin. I do like Damian Wayne quite a bit, but Dick is probably always going to be there, at least the childhood version of me. And so I was super happy to pick up this book in really high grade. And fingers crossed, let's see, oh man, how it's going to be. 9 8, yes, there's that rush. Yes, baby. Such an awesome key to have in my collection. All right, next up we have Infinity Inc. number 14, and this is the first ever published cover art from Todd McFarlane. And if you watch my channel, you know I'm a big Todd McFarlane fan. He was the person writing Spider-Man or drawing Spider-Man when I was a kid. So again, just a lot of nostalgia here. And so I'm trying to pick up a lot of his big keys, and so this is a really cool one. There's a little bit of a spine indent. There might be some reversion. I still think, again, I think these are at least all 9 6s. Let's see what we get. Oh, can we hit the 9 8? 9 8! There goes that adrenaline! Yes, baby! Man, this is turning out to be pretty good so far. Now, speaking of Todd McFarlane, we have just another early Todd McFarlane cover, Star Squadron number 47. This also has the origin of Dr. Fate. And I already have this in a 9-4, but I've been trying to get a 9-8. Is this the submission that I can get it in? I don't know. Those were definitely the two that I had the highest hopes to get a 9-8. So these next 3 are all, again, 9-6, 9-8 range. What do I get? 9-6. All right, that's fine. Obviously not quite as much of an adrenaline rush, but still a good grade. And I didn't pay a whole lot for it. Now, before I get to the next book, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, of course, I'd appreciate it if you consider doing so now. Alright, so switching over to Marvel, we have ROM Space Night #1. Just another book that brings back a lot of childhood memories. I remember the term ROM being a big deal, because computers were just becoming a thing. And when I sent this off, I thought it was a 9.6, but I see some really small flaws. And I don't think any of them are enough by themselves to take it down from a 9.8. But, they might add up to bring it to 9.6. What can we get here? 9.6, yeah, man, still a great grade. But yeah, I would love to have this in a 9.8. Maybe one day. I'm happy at the 9.6. One day, can I get that 9.8? So you see the adrenaline kind of dumping out of me now, right? And finally, just another big childhood book, Masters of the Universe #1. And this is the first Masters of the Universe series. He-Man himself had his first appearance, and I guess some of his related characters, and DC Comics Presents, I think it was 47. But this is their first actual title. And man, so many childhood memories about this. This was the first, kind of like, I guess, non-Bugs Bunny cartoon I ever watched. But I had to sneak around and watch it. I was actually banned from watching He-Man because there was sorcery and witchcraft. And if you lived through the 80s, it was something that some people refer to as the Satanic Panic, where people thought there was the devil and everything. And pretty much anything that had to do with sorcery or magic was a no-no for a lot of kids that grew up in the South like I did. But a lot of my friends at school would watch it. And so my dad worked shift work. So every other week he would be at work when I got home from school. And when that happened, then my mom was a little nicer to me. Or I know she's nicer, but just wasn't as strict. And she was really nice. I don't mean she wasn't nice. She was great. And so I would be able to watch it then. And I was able to get a couple figures for Christmas and things like that. And so He-Man has always held a special place in my heart as, again, like kind of the first cartoon that was like, a big boy cartoon on some level. I mean, it's still obviously targeted towards children, but it was more mature than anything I had ever watched. Even though when you go back and think about it, is Bugs Bunny really that family friendly? I mean, pretty much everything they do could murder someone, and Elmer Fudd and Yosemite Sam are walking around with guns. So maybe actually this wasn't that bad. Maybe this was the kid friendly thing, and Bugs Bunny was so bad. But who knows? Well, anyway, this is my last book for this submission, and again, it's one of those borderline 9.6, 9.8. Can we end on a strong note? I mean, no matter what, I got 2 9.8, so this was a great submission. And the 9.6s were still, they're still great grades. But can I pull one last 9.8? Let's see, this one's stuck on top a little bit. I'll come from the side. So, obviously a 9. 9 what? 9.8, we end on a good note. Well, I don't know if I'm going to be able to go to sleep tonight. The adrenaline is pumping, and this, again, is one of the reasons that I love submitting books to CGC. I hope you enjoyed coming along the ride for me, getting to look at these awesome books. Fantastic submission. Well, tell me, do you get an adrenaline rush whenever you unbox your books from CGC? Or just let me know what you thought about the submission. Of course, once again, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, I'd appreciate it if you consider doing so now. Like the video. Thanks for coming along on this adrenaline-filled ride. I appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.